Marquette Devon Burton, the saint and the sinner, giving you lessons from a pimp. And folks, today I'm going to focus on what Roni requested. He sent through a donation and said, can you talk about openers and approaches? And I'm happy to do it. I will say, check out my video called How to Talk to Women. There's a lot of foundational game in there to get you started on this path. First thing I want to say is that there's too much emphasis put on approach and opener. That is what you said to the woman or how you opened up the conversation or engagement. Too much emphasis. The number one thing is the confidence and spirit in which you said it. And the number two thing is the circumstance in which you have caught this female. And I will elaborate on both, but I will acknowledge I've definitely said some shit that was so slick that a bitch had to go home and tell her mom about it. Undoubtedly. And I'll give you a few examples of those things. But it's not always about the slickness. Sometimes it's about getting her to think or making her laugh or catching her off guard. And sometimes you need to ask yourself, is this the best situation to be very direct, or do I want to be a little bit subtle? Mind you, being player is not about a bitch. It's not about talking to women. It's who you are. It's the way you approach life in general. It's your spirit of optimism. It's the fact that there's sauce on everything you do. Now, there was a time that I ran a program at Johns Hopkins Medical. And I was trying to get a guy to work for me, an expert. And when you're operating at the high level and you want someone to come work for you, it's not about the financial package you put together because everybody's offering $250,000. At this level, people are trying to figure out what the culture of the organization is, what the nature is of the guy they're going to be working for, how they will develop, how they'll get media and things like that. You need to build rapport, build a relationship. So I told the guy, hey, you're new in town. Let me take you out. Let me show you Baltimore. So we went down to a place called PowerPoint Live, which is a collection of nightclubs. And this place really does go down. You go on a Friday, Saturday night, there's music everywhere. There's clubs and bars lining both sides. A lot of honeys, a lot of guys out there. Is going down. So we went down there. We got down there around 11:30 p.m. And there was a super long line for the particular venue I wanted to take him into. And he's like, oh man, that line is hella long. And I said, true, but we're not about to wait in it. We walk down the line, and as we're walking down, he's following me. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. I'm scanning through the line, and I see the baddest bitch in the line. Dark brown hair, came all the way down to about her waist. It's completely straight, cut off very even and neatly at the ends. Bangs that hung down like a little bit over her eyebrows. Very pale girl, but beautiful in the face. Lovely cheekbones, and she's wearing a short dress, and her legs were gorgeous. They were sculpted and they looked strong, but they still looked soft to the touch. You know what I'm saying? They didn't look muscular. They looked strong, but soft to the touch. Kind of like she has excellent genetics, make you some lovely children. So when we were walking down, I stop and I tell her, I was like, hey, this is a super long line. You mind if I hop in with you? And then she looked at her friend. She's like, yeah, sure. That's an opener. Nothing heavy. I'm not complimenting her. I'm not coming on strong. I'm not revealing my intentions. But there's the underlying piece of, yeah, I walked through the whole line and I stopped where you were. And I have enough confidence to ask you something that's atypical and feel like I'm going to be successful. Often you'll find from a psychological perspective, if someone does you a favor, in their mind, they justify, like, oh, maybe I like this person. So I said, you know, this line's super long. You mind if we hop in with you? Looking dead in her eyes, complete confidence, no nervousness. She says, yeah, sure. So when we hop in, now the game's flowing. So the first thing I did, I was like, oh, well, hey, I'm Marquette Burton. This is my buddy Akeen. Hey, how are you? Met her friend. Her friend was aight. Then I introduced her friend to my friend. And, you know, we started chopping it up. Then another chick shows up, her third friend who was doing who knows what, showed up, and she was actually pretty attractive too. So the great thing is, you know, we built this relationship pre-club. Then when we go in the club, I was like, hey, you know what? Let me get you guys a shot because you probably saved me like an hour waiting in line. And I really appreciate that. So we got them all 3 shots and the whole night was flowing from there. Had a really good night. And the young lady who I identified, I actually ended up dealing with that chick for like half a decade, yo. Good looking girl, super loyal. You're only going to have a bitch for so long in most cases. When she goes, just let it be what it is. I think I need to do a video on breakups and dealing with that. If you're interested in that, let me know. But anyway, so that was the opener that I used. It was very simple. I was extremely confident. It was all about the confidence. If you look at the context in which I met her, I know that she was probably single because she's just there with another female. So contextually, I know she was open to it. The other important context is it wasn't inside the club, it was before she got in the club. Her defenses probably weren't even up yet. She's bored. She's just bored standing around with her homegirl. I caught her at the perfect time. I was probably the first guy the whole night who talked to her because she had just got there, hopped in line. So it was a beautiful opportunity. The timing was right, the context was right, and I came in strong and confident. I didn't come in super flirty to where she had to decide, do I like this guy? She didn't have to make any of those decisions. She just had to decide, do I mind if he joins in line, right? And once I got in line with her, then the game starts flowing, building up the familiarity, and then I'm off to the races. So the number one thing is the confidence and the spirit in which you actually engage the person. Importantly, what you say to a woman, 9 out of 10, she's not going to remember. The key is make sure that when you do say something, you're intentional about it. I've seen a lot of people think they're spitting game. Like when a chick is walking by, they're like, hey, what's up? What's up? Excuse me? Like you can tell they don't really want to be successful. Or they're driving by and they're like, hey, what's up, shorty? Like they don't really want to be successful. If you really want to be successful, pull the car over, tell her, hey, hold on one second. Hop out that motherfucker, walk up on her and shoot your shot. You really have to take things with intention, calmness, confidence. Actually, let me give you an anecdote. Sometimes things take time. So the important thing in life, and you might not understand this yet due to your age or experience, but being who you appear to be and more is always going to allow you to win. Me, I'm everything that I appear to be and a lot more. The more you do your research about the big homie, it's like, God damn, that nigga does it all. And he came from the gutter too. Yeah, so there have been times I've shot my shot at a chick, got shut down, and then the bitch came back around. You heard me. It was like a boomerang. Toss it out, bitch came right back. So what happened was I shot my shot. She's like, oh, I'm a bad bitch. People are coming at me 24/7. She doesn't know me from Adam. And then what do you know? She comes back around and sometimes they come with an apology. Sometimes they come and try to be friends and then try to convert it once they know who you are or what you're about. So really be about something. You cannot fake that. If you want a high quality woman, you need to be a high quality man. Let me give you one more example. And I cannot emphasize confidence enough because I'm always winning on that one point. If I say the wrong thing, I said it confidently. If I mispronounce something or stutter, I stuttered confidently. I'm really about it. And I'm confident enough and comfortable enough in my own skin that I can roll with the punches. In boxing, we say roll with the punches, right? Which means that, you know, if you take one, you're rolling away, and so that it's not hurting you. You're continuing on, right? For example, I used to live in Hollywood, right on Sunset and Laurel Canyon Parkway, near the Laugh Factory. And I would go for runs. And, you know, I'm the kind of cat that I'm always looking for opportunity. That's just my nature. And so I'm on a run and I see a bad little bitch. That bitch was so bad, I stopped my run. And I told her, I was like, you know, you just interrupted my run. Like, I'm about 7 miles in and I got 3 more to go. And like, you fucking up my time right now. You see I'm recording my time right now? And she looked and she was like, oh, wow, yeah, you really did run 7 miles. I was like, yeah, you just fucked it up. How you gonna make that up to me? So it's all about having fun with it, being confident, being playful, because here are a couple keys to the female mind. And if you pay attention, it's obvious. If you read chicks' Tinder profiles, for example, which I'm not one who uses Tinder, but I've definitely been on it, they often say, tell me a joke, or make me laugh, or I like funny men. I like men with a sense of humor. Now, one, I don't think that's the kind of woman I would want to stay with long term if that's her primary interest. I think she's probably a fucking idiot. But it lets you know that their nature is they like to laugh, they like to have fun. Those are things that are disarming to a woman, meaning it takes their defenses down. When you come in funny, you know, it helps them cool out, and then you can just ease the game in on them. Now, there is one thing to be considered about. Know who you are and know how you're perceived. Me, I can be funny and jovial and joke around because at the end of the day, people take me seriously. And I know that. I'm a 6-foot black man who is pretty fucking serious most of the time. And people know my background and what I'm about. So they're going to take me serious off the rip. And then I joke that lets them know, oh man, like this dude went to Berkeley and Johns Hopkins and he's a CEO, but he also has a sense of humor. They like that. Now, if you look like a fucking cornball, maybe you don't want to go the humor angle because that's just going to be like, oh, this dude's a fucking goof, right? Know who you are, know how you're perceived. But I can tell you 9 out of 10 women like humor. So anyways, I stopped running. I told the chick, you interrupted my run. Check this out. See, I'm really running. You fucking interrupted me. How you going to make that up to me? She starts laughing. I say, for real, what, you going to take me out to dinner? And mind you, that's the pimping. The pimping always flips the script. Because a bitch wants you to take her out to dinner. I'm like, bitch, you're going to take me out to dinner. A bitch thinks she's the prize. The pimp says, you're not the prize. I'm the prize. And mind you, historically, men have always been the prize. Get your head right. Don't get sucked into this modern idiocy. In China, they used to abort the female child because the women weren't working in the fields, bringing money into the household. The man's the breadwinner. You're the prize. If you don't know that, shit, I can't help you. Now, I told you, sometimes you throw a bitch out, she comes back like a boomerang. Fast forward, 4 years later, bitch hops on my DMs on Instagram. Hey, Marquette, how you doing? You know, like, it's been so long since I saw you and whoop-de-whoop. And I'm over here like looking at it like, damn, this bitch is fine. There's no way in hell I would forget a bitch this fine. I was like, nah, shorty, I think you mistaken me with somebody else because truthfully, I don't remember your face and you fine enough for me to remember. And she was like, no, actually what happened was that you were jogging in Hollywood and then you stopped and started talking to me and then you walked me to my friend's house because I was going to my friend's house and you walked with me and then like, you know, we exchanged contact info, but we never really like did anything. I was like, okay, well, what the fuck happened? She's like, oh, you know, I was just too immature then, whoop-de-whoop. But, you know, like, I see that you're doing well. And, like, I've been following you on Instagram for a couple of years. And I just couldn't help but reach out. And, you know, like, I want you to know, like, I'm mature now. And I think, you know, I think I'd be interested in, you know, spending some time. So basically, she was with the shits at that point. I don't know what circumstance changed in her life. Me, personally, I didn't want to fuck with her. And I'll tell you why. I'm a true believer that once you cross a bridge, you don't need to cross it again. I like to keep moving forward. Secondly, bitch, what I look like to where I gamed you up, you put a couple more years of miles on the pussy. Now you want to bring this raggedy ass, used ass, pre-owned ass pussy to me? Fuck I look like. You got a lot of females who you think you didn't get them, but they might come back around for whatever reason. Maybe when I gamed her up, she had a boyfriend. Maybe when I gamed her up, who knows what the circumstance was. But what I do know is that I made an impact. And I made enough impact that she remembered me, she remembered how we met, and she remembered the feeling that she got. She happened to remember what I said. But I had another situation where a chick just hopped on my Facebook, like literally talking about like when I was like 16, bro. And she said, hey, Marquette, I remember when I met you and you had took me out to somewhere I'd never been, which mind you, that's key. If you're going to hang out with a chick, it's always great to give her a new experience, a new memory. That's just me. She was like, yeah, you took me somewhere I'd never been before. I don't remember where it was. I just remember I'd never been there. And I don't remember anything else. I just remember how much you focused on me. And the times that we went out mean so much to me. And I think back on them a lot. You were so important in my life at that time. To be able to make a bitch feel that special is an art. And for all the things we can say about a bitch, I love women. I love females. I love everything about them. I love when they walk and the ass jiggles just a little bit. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love how when they sit, how they cross their legs. I love women. And when you really love them and appreciate them and you observe them every detail and you understand them, you got the key to their heart. And the key is to put it in there and then keep turning that motherfucker, open it up as much as you can and implant yourself deep within her heart and her mind. So my hoes often come back. I have excellent hoe retention, but I also have to mention that I kick hoes out all the time. Because if they can't get with my program, hey, they can hit the road. And that's an important thing for them to know. The door swings both ways. But I say all that to say The young lady who had hopped in my Facebook talking about like reminiscing on like the time she had the privilege of experiencing me. She said she didn't remember a lot of details. She didn't remember where I took her. Probably don't remember specific things I said to her. She remembers how I paid attention to her, how I talked to her. The how is everything, gentlemen. That's what I'm really talking about. A player is detail oriented. A player is sensitive in the right way, meaning that like, one thing I noticed in Korea and in a lot of Asian cultures, I used to have an office in Pangyo in Korea. And one thing I love about the culture is so respectful. For example, when they hand you your change or they hand you a receipt or they hand you anything, women will often do it like this, almost like they're presenting you a gift. When you hand someone your business card, you hand it with two hands like this, respectfully, like you're presenting them with something that has meaning. In the West, niggas just give you their business card like they don't give a fuck about it. Like they don't expect you to contact them. Like they don't give a fuck about the paper it's written on. And that matters. And now when I do business around the world, I always present it Asian style. Two hands. Boom. You're getting a business card from Marquette Devon Burton. That means something. And the key is women need to be able to differentiate you, especially if it's an attractive woman. Your confidence is going to be key. Your presentation and how you engage them, timbre of voice, tone, intentionality, not being threatening, not being too aggressive. Side note, some bitches like aggressive. Give you another quick story. I was 21, still in undergrad. I went to, I think I was in the East Bay. I went to Berkeley, so we went to a party in like Oakland or something, a super turned up, crazy function, man. And if you know anything about the Bay, like they're those Hayward Asians. They come from Hayward, super like trill Asians. And I saw something you almost never see, which is an Asian girl with a fat ass. I don't know what variety of Asian she was. I don't know if she was one of the E's, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, or if she was like a Filipino or what. But she had a fatty and she was a hood bitch too. And I always got a special place in my heart for a hood bitch. So I literally walked up on her and I said the following words. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I didn't think about this. I walked up on her, looked down at her, and I said, "You gonna shake that ass for me?" And she looked at me like, "What the fuck?" And then she turned around and busted open for a nigga, man. I said, "You gonna shake that ass for me?" And she looked at me like, "Did you really just, hell yeah, I am." And it gave it to me, man. And she was in these jean shorts, whoo-wee. But I say that to say, when you're the nigga, when you're the one, when you're the big dog, and you know that, you don't have to question any of this, what am I going to say shit. You're in the zone. And the key is to wake up every fucking day in the zone. Don't worry about the opener or the approach. That's going to come when you have the confidence. And also you need to realize the reason you put so much emphasis on the opener or the approach is because you're fearful or nervous. You're either fearful of, is she going to shut you down or not? Which doesn't really matter. Because you should be doing volume. You should be talking to 10 bitches, shooting your shot at 10 bitches a day. You're letting too many bitches slide. I'll give you an example of one time the big homie let a bitch slide. I just talked to her today. I kid you not. And give you a backstory on it. I used to have an office in Puerto Rico before the hurricanes. And so I was doing business there, running my tech company very successfully, slaying the most gorgeous Puerto Rican women you would ever want to see. Having flashbacks. And the hurricanes were about to come. And all the business class was leaving the island. I had the bread to leave, but I had a big deal that was about to go through. So I talked to this Puerto Rican dude, Cav's old as shit. I said, "Hey man, a lot of people are leaving because they say this hurricane is about to tear shit up. And they say it's a category 5. I think cancer only goes up to 4 stages. This is a category 5, man. You die at stage 4 on cancer. So what are we talking about?" And Puerto Rican cat says, "Papa, it's no problem. It's no problem. Every year it's a season. Winter, spring, fall, it's a season. Hurricane season, it's no problem, Papa. I 80 years old, it's never been a problem. In fact, Walmart, they want to sell more water. They want to sell supplies. They want to make money. The news, they want to make money. It's no problem. I 80, never a problem. You, Papa, you stay, you do your business. You enjoy, it's no problem." So I'm like, this nigga is damn near a century years old. He should know. I stay there. I try to get this deal done. The first hurricane hits. It was ugly. Electricity went out briefly, but it came back on because I live right next to the Marriott, the tourist area. They make sure you get back running. Second hurricane hit. Man, that was the shit that killed the dinosaurs, man. Everything was fucked up. So after that calamitous event, I was eventually able to leave Puerto Rico. When I left Puerto Rico, I was virtually homeless. I lost a fortune. After that, I literally was couch surfing, meaning that I had no home, really had no belongings. So I was basically living off the kindness of others while I raised capital to restart my tech company. And that was such an impactful experience to me that I said, I'm going to allow people to couch surf. Meaning I'm going to let people stay at my place in my extra bedrooms in my homes for free because I see the value of helping people out in this particular way. Housing is precious. Long story short, so I'm on couchsurfer.com. I don't even remember the website. So if you're ever on there and you see me in your city, I'd be happy to host you. Truly. There was a young lady who was coming from Russia who needed to be hosted in Springfield, Missouri, where I have an office. And so I said, yeah, happy to host you. And she initially needed a month, and then she got some student housing, and she says, hey, can I just stay a day? I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll even pick you up from the airport, host you for a day, and I'll take you to your destination. Happy to help you out. So I picked her up, took her out to eat on me, and then brought her back, gave her an international outlet converter, chatted a little bit. She showered, I showered, went to bed. Then the next day drove her to the student housing, actually to the ATM first and then to the student housing. And then pretty much never reached out to her again. Then I was like, damn, this bitch never gave me back my international outlet converter and I got to take a trip to China. So I hit her line like, yo, shorty, can I get that back from you? She was like, oh, I'm in Spain. I'm in Spain right now. I was like, God damn. I was like, that's a shame. She was like, yeah, that is a shame. And she was like, yeah, I was hoping you would take me out. I was like, oh yeah, why is that? She says, I was hoping you would take me out because you're a very attractive man. I was like, oh, well, I didn't know you felt like that. If you felt like that, I could have did more than take you out. She was like, yeah, I would have been with it. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay. She was like, yeah, I was going to make a move on you that first night, but you seemed so tired, talking about me, which I probably was tired because I worked such long hours. And I thought to myself, damn, that's crazy. Like, I literally could have fucked the living daylights out of this little bitch. And man, she's good looking little blonde, blue eye Russian bitch, big titties, skinny, whew, would have been a good one. And I was like, oh, you know what, shorty, that's a shame because honestly, when I saw you after you got out of the shower, I wanted to like fucking seize you and just animal fuck the daylights out of you. And she says, oh yeah, that would have been perfect because I like aggressive sex. I was like, oh, this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. So anyways, she now lives in Spain. And I travel a lot. So I'll be in Europe and I'm going to definitely pull up on her. And she says, yeah, 100%. When you're in Spain, come through. I'll meet you in Madrid. We'll go out. We'll have a good time. We'll do all the things we should have done. I say that to say, nigga, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. Think Iverson. Think Kobe. When Kobe's shooting, even if he's missing those motherfuckers, he keeps shooting because he knows he's going to start hitting. He's going to catch a rhythm. Shoot your shot. It's not about how you opened. It's not about how you approached. It's about approaching. It's about opening. It's about volume. Practice will make you better. And the important thing that I do want to mention is the anxiety around the approach or the opener. It's sometimes because of getting shut down by that chick, and it's other times because of the other people who are watching and what they're going to think or say. I tell you, if you're confident about what you're doing, they should respect it. If they're wise, reasonable people, they're going to respect the fact that you shot your shot. If they don't respect it, they're losers. Fuck them. They don't matter. Because successful people are risk takers. Successful people are the ones who go forward like a fearless lunatic seeking victory. Successful people take chances. Losers sit by and watch and observe. They observe life. They don't participate in life. So go ahead and open. Approach. It doesn't matter what you really said. And the truth is, the more knowledge you gain, that is going to support your ability to open, to approach. You see, the more esteem and reputation you build, you'll find women come to you. That's the real key. 50 Cent said once, which I thought was quite insightful. He said, Earlier in life, I had to go approach women. Now, as I'm a successful, wealthy man, I'm like a hot woman to them. They come and approach me, and that's the key that you really want. Let me tell you what the best opener is. Hi, how are you? And saying it intentionally and then waiting to hear their answer and then playing off of that. It's basic. If you got nothing, hi, how are you? Chick might say, oh, it's hot out here. You tell her you wouldn't be so hot if you take off some of those clothes. Happy to help you. The opener and the approach is not so important. It's how you're interacting with her, the quality of the interaction, your ability to listen and play off of that. An important tip that I have for you is when you want to ask a woman a question or get more information from her, make sure it doesn't feel like an interview. The way that you can do that is when you say something to her and you want to ask her a question, you first give a little information about yourself, as little as possible. I say that because you want to be interesting. If you keep on talking about yourself, you're not going to be interesting. She's going to know everything about you. And she's not going to believe most of it because most people are trying to aggrandize themselves. So, for example, you might say, say you want to know where a woman works. You might say, oh yeah, my office is just around the corner. Just left, glad to be off. How about you? Do you work around here? You see, that comes off a lot better than just saying, do you work around here? Because that sounds like interrogation. You give a little bit of information. No, I just left my office. It's around the corner. Glad to get out there. Do you work around here? It's natural. So you throw a little bit of information out and then you ask your question. And the key, when you first meet a woman, one thing I'm very big on is taking your time to establish rapport before you ask for her contact information. If you're too quick to ask for her contact information, she just thinks, oh, this guy's on the hunt constantly. If you take out time to build rapport and then tell her like, oh, you're kind of interested. Generally, if a chick says, oh, give me your number, your ass got shut down. 9 out of 10. Not always, but 9 out of 10. Generally, you want to take her information so that the ball is in your court and you can decide if the relationship will move forward. You can decide if you're going to indeed talk to her. You want to control that whole dynamic. This has been a long one. I hope this was satisfactory. I do want to just thank you so much for donating and for encouraging me to do more of this. The truth is, I truly do this because I admire you and I appreciate having community with you because the folks who listen to Marquette Devon Burton are reasonable, rational men. Marquette Devon Burton, the saint and the sinner, signing off.
Let's get this show on the road. I'm so cocky, sometimes I wish I were you, but that's just so I could watch me. The reason I'm conceited, cause your girl want me to beat it like Muhammad Ali. The chances of you taking my bitch is about as slim as me becoming a black Nazi. Or black people taking over the sport of hockey. Or a teacher never needing a photocopy. Or Usain Bolt running knock me. Or his girlfriend not calling me Poppy. When I'm digging it, the squad is like jail cause ain't no pussies in it. If I don't get to heaven, I won't be offended. Cause I wouldn't know a single motherfucker in it. Dig it, give me a minute. I'm so cool, if I went to hell, I'd be the AC in it. If you put my condom on, you couldn't fit it. I'm a dickhead with a big head, so my fitted, you couldn't fit it. If you could read my thoughts, you wouldn't get it. That's why I gotta simplify it when I spit it. Hold the mic tight, but I might fry it when I get it. How these whack rappers go gold, I don't know how the pussy sold like an ugly hooker. I'm quite the looker, that's why your bitch love me, and my life's lovely. But when I grew up, my mom was on the rocks, my pops was in the box, the one with the locks, the one with the cots, and my life was hard knocks. Man, my life was hard knocks, but now I'm on top. Now I'm on top, y'all can bow down. You packing the Mac in the back of the act, but I'm packing the strap in the front of my lap, and I do that when I'm rolling through the wrong hood up to no good. Left Pasadena with my Nina on my way to LA to fuck my Latina. Calls me Grim Reaper cause I kill the pussy when I beat her, never eat her, and I treat her like a servant when I see her, like an overseer would treat a slave when she's near. She screams like it's fear when she gets it in the rear, but she comes and she cheers from this big dick here. Be clear, no rapper you can hear with balls bigger than the ones under this spear. So when it comes to rap, I don't feel these dudes, cause not even Shaq could feel these shoes. My mom was on the rocks, my house was in the box, the one with the lock, the ones with the cots. My life was hard knocks, my life was